Edgar Allan Poe was born on January 19, 1809, in Boston, Massachusetts. He was the second child of actors David Poe Jr. and Elizabeth Arnold Poe. When Poe was just a year old, his father abandoned the family, and shortly after, his mother died of tuberculosis. Poe was then taken in by John and Frances Allan, a wealthy couple from Richmond, Virginia. Although they never formally adopted him, Poe took their last name as his middle name. Poe attended the University of Virginia in 1826, but left after a year due to financial difficulties and a strained relationship with his foster father, John Allan. After dropping out of college, Poe briefly enlisted in the U.S. Army under a false name, Edgar A. Perry, but left 2 years later. With the death of his foster mother and the worsening relationship with his foster father, Poe turned to writing full-time. Poe began his literary career as a poet, but later transitioned to writing short stories and becoming an editor for several literary magazines. His work as an editor was marked by his sharp literary criticism, which earned him a reputation as a tomahawk man. In 1835, Poe married his cousin Virginia Clem, who was only 13 at the time. Despite the controversy, they had a loving marriage, although Virginia's health was fragile. Poe's literary career took off in 1845 with the publication of his poem, The Raven, which became an immediate success and remains one of his most famous works. He continued to write dark, macabre tales that explored themes of death, madness, and the supernatural. Some of his notable works include The Tell-Tale Heart, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Mask of the Red Death, and The Cask of Amontillado. Poe is credited with inventing the detective fiction genre with his story, The Murders in the Rue Morgue. Poe's life was marked by personal tragedy and hardship. His wife Virginia died of tuberculosis in 1847, which left him devastated. Struggling with poverty, alcoholism, and depression, Poe's final years were fraught with instability. On October 3, 1849, Poe was found delirious on the streets of Baltimore, wearing clothes that were not his own. He died 4 days later on October 7, 1849, under mysterious circumstances, with his exact cause of death still debated by scholars today. Edgar Allan Poe is considered one of the most important figures in American literature. His innovative storytelling techniques and exploration of psychological horror have left a lasting impact on literature and popular culture. Poe's works continue to be widely read and adapted into various forms of media, solidifying his legacy as a master of the macabre.